So today's service was super duper amazing, and one of my key takeaways was the providence of God in Joseph's story. And we see this because God gave Joseph a dream that he shared with his brother and his father. And basically the summary of the dream was he was going to rule over them, right? However, because of the envy, right, Joseph's brother wanted to kill him. But God somehow stirred it up in one of his brother's heart to say, oh, let's not kill him. Let's throw him into a pit. And coincidentally, some people who wanted to buy slaves were actually coming their way. And so they sold Joseph, to these people. And guess where they were taking Joseph to? They were taking him to the very same place that he'll become governor in. And even when he had an issue with Potiphar's wife, when he was still trying to do the right thing, and he got into more trouble for rejecting to sleep with his Oga's wife, right? Some people would have seen it as favor. But he stood his ground and said, how can I do this great sin against the Lord? And even after that, he got into more trouble, right? But the Bible never records that Joseph complained. We never see that, right? Even in prison, he was so well behaved that became the head of prison. And every single place that God put him, he did it excellently until he got to the point where he became the governor, right? And so what am I saying? In this 2026, I want you to be able to see God's providence even in very, very challenging situations. When God speaks a word, it will come to pass. We've seen the hand of God before, and we know that if he did it before, he can do it again. I talked about the track record of God in one of my videos, and I want this to be your anthem. Make sure that when you are going through a phase where you're like, oh, well, it looks like 2026 is not turning out as I planned, you go back and look at how God brought you out from situations that were even more challenging, right? God is able and more than able to fulfill his word. And how do we know this? Many and thousands years ago, before Jesus actually came, he gave his word that he would send his son to die. Prophets like Jeremiah, Isaiah, David made prophecies about it, and we saw it come to pass. And so if God could keep his word in salvation, best believe that he will keep his word concerning you. So every word of God that he has spoken regarding you this year will not fall to the ground, because he is a promise keeper. If he speaks his word, he has everything, all the resources he needs to bring it to pass. Amen.